Hi friends, it's Joan at 10 Pentacles Tarot. I haven't told a scary story for a while, and I actually debated on whether I should tell this story or not. I'll be honest with you, when it happened, it scared me to death. And now when I tell it, it seems a little bit funny, and some people will think, oh, that's just a natural thing. Okay, but this is really weird for me, and I'd love to hear your comments about it. So about 4 years ago, my husband and I moved out to the country. If I stand at any point, like from anywhere in my house or my windows or whatever, I can see a total of 4 houses from where I am. Okay? Like the closest one is across the street. The one's about a couple acres down the road. The other one's across the street about an acre down. Okay, so they're spread out pretty nicely. At the time, there's a woods behind us and nobody lived there. Now people live there, but at the time they didn't. So this happened probably about 2 years ago. And at the time, my husband worked about an hour away. And so he worked until 11 o'clock at night. And so he would call me and talk to me on the way home so he didn't fall asleep. And one night we were talking and I went to the back door because I always did this when I knew he was on his way home. I'd go to the back door or the laundry room door, which is actually the side door. And I would turn the light on, you know, just look out there, make sure the light was on for him when he came home. Well, let me explain how the laundry room is. When you go out the door, there's a little landing. There's, like a fence or a railing on 2 sides. And, of course, the door is on the other side. And then 7 steps go down to the driveway. 7 wooden steps. So it was very, very dark out there. And I was on the phone with him. And I turned the light on. And I looked out the window. And I saw this. Okay, now, granted, there was no pentagram, and there was no candle, and there was no red circle, but the shape of what I saw was the head of a goat and horns. And I did a double take because I was thinking, what, oh my God, what am I looking at? And I looked, and I realized it was looking back at me, and it was a goat. Now, that may sound funny to you. You live out in the country, of course there's going to be a goat. Well, let me tell you what. This goat walked up my 7 steps and was looking in my door. It was looking at me. And when I saw it, something inside of me screamed, and then something outside of me screamed as well. I got hysterical, and I cannot tell you why, but it just hit me in a visceral way that terrified me. If you have ever looked in a goat's eyes, you will know that the pupils on a goat, and you can look this up if you don't believe me, are horizontal, okay? The pupils are not round. They are not like vertical like a cat or a snake. They are horizontal, and that is so freaky to me. So this goat was staring in the window, and I said to my husband, "It's looking at me. Oh my God, it's looking at me." I was totally freaked out. Remember, this was the image I had in my mind, probably because I'd been looking at this card sometime around that area. So not that I really thought it was the devil looking at me, but okay, the goat freaked me out. So it's staring. So I'm like, it's looking at me. It's looking at me. My husband is saying to me, what? Who's looking at you? I said, it's outside the laundry room door. It's looking at me. Well, he couldn't understand me because I apparently wasn't being coherent. And he said, there's someone outside trying to get in? Call 911. I'm like, no, it's not a person. It's a goat. He said, and all of a sudden the line went silent. He said, a goat? I said, yes, it's looking at me. He said, a goat. And then he started laughing. And I'm like, it's not funny. Okay, you couldn't understand how freaky this was unless you know it's 10:30, pitch black, out in the country. You look out and there is a goat parked on your, right outside your door, staring at you as if it wants to come in. And so he said, I'm almost there. And he was laughing. And I'm like, it's not funny. I said, you're probably going to have to come in the back door. And so he goes, oh gosh, just a goat. And so I'm still freaking out. He hangs up. He gets home a few minutes later. And Well, probably about 30 minutes later. The whole time I keep going away from the door and then going back to see if it's gone. Nope, it's still there. It's still there. Still looking in the door like I'm supposed to let it in. And I'm thinking, no way, Jose, am I letting you in? Okay, so my husband gets home and he sees the goat. The goat's not afraid of the car. The goat's not afraid of my husband. My husband doesn't really know what to do. He doesn't know how to make the goat move away from the door. So he comes all the way around the back of the house and comes in the sliding glass door at the back. So we're like, oh my gosh. So he, meanwhile, thinks it's pretty funny. I'm thinking it's pretty creepy. And I said, okay, surely it'll be gone in the morning. So we shut the doors, locked all the doors, shut off all the lights, and went to bed in a little while. Didn't look out anymore. Wake up in the morning, and wouldn't you know it, the goat is still on the landing outside the laundry room door. Only this time it has pooped all over, and I don't know if you've seen goat poop, but it looks a lot like rabbit poop, and it was everywhere on the landing. So I'm thinking, oh great. He goes, oh, my husband said, oh, it's kind of cute. Why don't we tie it to a tree and keep it? I'm like, no. I said, it has to belong to somebody. Well, this was during the time of COVID. And so I called the sheriff's department. We're out in the country, and the sheriff's department kind of laughed, and I said, I know that you sometimes get reported of farm animals that have gone missing. I said, I have a goat. I don't know where it came from. Have you heard about a missing goat? And they kind of laughed and said, no missing goat. And so I thought, well, thanks a lot for that help. And so I hung up and I called animal control. And animal control flat out laughed at me, and they said, no, we can't, it's COVID and we're just really not doing anything right now. So I called the Humane Society, and they said, oh, we're not open till October. So here we are stuck with a goat out on the porch. So my husband goes out the back door. He walks around and he talks to the goat and he pets it, and he said, oh, come on out, it's a nice goat. And I'm still like, I don't think so. But I opened the laundry room door, and so there was a screen in the door, so I thought that my dog might like to sniff the goat and see if it really was friendly. And so as soon as the dog appeared, the goat head-butted with its horns, head-butted my door, and I'm like, okay, that's not going to work. I got the dog and shut the door. So my husband coaxes the goat down from the steps, and I'm just still trying to think of what to do. And so we're like, and it's just walking around in the yard, it's just kind of hanging out. And my husband just is enamored of this goat, and I just want it to go away. And so we're like, okay, so we talked about it. We said, well, there are a lot of farms around here. Why don't we go up and down this road, and we'll stop at any farms that look like they have goats, and we'll ask them if they're missing a goat. So we drove about 2 miles down the road, and finally we come to a farm with goats. Okay, we're like, oh, great. So we pull in the driveway, and the people were just getting out of the car. They were taking their groceries in the house, and they looked at us like, oh, God, what do these people want? So we explained the story to them, and the man said, look, I'm not missing a goat. He said, but I might be able to find out who is. He said, I'll bring a cage over. I'll pick up the goat. I will take it, and I'll call some people. And we're like, okay, thank you. All right, so we get home. The guy follows us, and the goat is nowhere to be seen. So the man walks, there's a woods behind our house. He walks back there. He's like, here, goat, 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 goat. He's calling. He's trying to get the goat to come. He can't find the goat. He goes across the street, and, I forgot to mention this. As we were going, the goat walked across the street and started eating the neighbor's flowers. So actually, when we saw the goat last, it was across the street, right across the street in the front yard, eating the flowers. Okay, so the man with the goat cage follows us back home, and he's looking for the goat. The goat is nowhere to be found. He goes across the street. We said it was over there eating flowers, but since it was so attached to our house all night long, we figured it wouldn't be far away. But he walked to that man's yard. He walked to the backyard. No goat. All right. He said, oh, well, after about 30 minutes, he said, oh, well, I guess it's gone. So he went home, and the goat was never seen again. Okay, not only was it never seen again that day, it hasn't been never seen again in the next 2 years. I have not seen a goat wandering anywhere around here. I have seen 2 farms with goats within probably a mile or 2 of here, but as far as I know, I've never seen a goat out again. I mean, not as far as I know. I haven't seen any loose goats again. So anyway, that is the goat story. It probably freaked me out unreasonably, but I think there's another reason it did. If you have ever seen the movie called The Witch, and it's kind of, it looks like, the way the W is written, it almost looks like The Vitch when you see it, and it takes place in colonial times, and it's about rumors of witchcraft and stuff, and I don't want to tell you any more, but it's a really good movie, and if you see it, you will, there's a bit about a goat in there that also feeds into this whole thing. So that is the goat story. I would love to hear your opinion. Some of you will just say, oh, it was just a lost goat. But my question is, why did it climb up my 7 steps and camp all night outside my laundry room door? I guess maybe my situation in the setup might have looked like its home, where it came from. It certainly seemed like it wanted to come in the house, so maybe wherever it's from, the people kept it in the house. At any rate, my husband did not get his wish to keep the goat on a rope in the backyard. Thank goodness the goat took care of that itself and went away. So that's the goat story, folks. If you enjoyed it, leave a comment. If you would like to hear more stories, please let me know. I will come up with some more. I do have some more scary stories from the house that I lived in, that creepy house. If you haven't looked at those, you might want to look at those. I'll get back to them. They're just sort of little things, and I'm not sure they make up a whole story. They're just little incidents. But if you want to know more, I can put a bunch of them together and let you know. We did a lot of EVPs there that really got responses. And unfortunately, I can't play them for you because that might... the little digital recorder I had broke, and I was never able to get the recordings off of it. So I know some of you saying, yeah, sure. But I mean, it's really true. I don't have any reason to lie. And I honestly, about the goat story, I don't even think anybody can make that up. That's just such a goofy thing. So anyway, folks, I want to thank you for being here. I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever it is where you are. And I hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.